It's Craig from the BitCoin RoadShow, and I'm not on the road. But neither are the Antiques RoadShow when they're in the Antiques place. So, it's fine. I'll get over it. I wanted to cover one topic today, just only one thing, and it's about keeping money on exchanges. It's the obvious thing that people always say, don't keep money on exchanges, but the question is why. The answer used to be just because of MT Gox and similar situations happening again, where they would take your money, but it's actually bigger than that. So right now, I'm on about 12 exchanges, and there's way too many. I left a little bit of money. I left about 5 Bitcoin last year on exchanges, and took everything else off. I thought I'm going to only trade with a little bit of what I have now, and that 5 Bitcoin became worth. I stopped trading last year because of the IRS, and so these guys have cost me so much money, it's insane. If I hadn't moved to America, I'd be so much better off. But anyway, so just by stopping trading last year because IRS regulations, I couldn't be bothered dealing with their shit, right? And I still don't want to deal with their shit. That's why I'm leaving the country. And it's not evading anything. I closed out my taxes and I'm leaving the country properly. I just don't want to live within their fucked up paradigm anymore, right? But that aside, all I did was stop trading last year. Left about 5 Bitcoin, just over 5 Bitcoin in about 12 exchanges. It's worth less than 2 Bitcoin now, because that's not the fault of the IRS. That's just I left bags sitting around in different sites, and they've gone down in value. What's the bet though? If I were to be continuing trading and still made those kind of losses, they would want to still tax me. They wouldn't want to give me any money back. That's not the way it works with the IRS. They don't want to give you anything back ever. They don't want you to adjust for losses, nothing. It's just take, give nothing. So it's kind of socialist system where it's more like a communist system. It's like I was going to say, and I have said before, it's like a corporate socialism, but it's not. It's a corporate communism. That's what we have here. So raping from the people, giving back nothing, and just putting money into the expenditure that they want to spend. Prison industrial complex, insurance companies, all that. It's all the swings and roundabouts. So the reason you need to take your money off exchanges all the time, if you're going to be trading, always take it off, is because as soon as within the space of one night, they can change rules on you. So a few of the exchanges I was on never used to have KYC and now have KYC. I lost my wallet recently, and now I have a pain in the ass doing that kind of stuff. I'm still able to do it, but now I've got a 3-day delay. You get the delayed, you can't take your money out straight away. It just reminds you why you need to maintain custody at all times. The only I'm gonna plug Pryvate again, because when this exchange is launched in a few hours, it's the only one in the world that has decentralized model as well as centralized. So at first, it's not going to be centralized. So if you guys don't like having custody in someone else's company, don't keep it on ours for the first 10 days or so. But then later on, it starts to interface with the decentralized wallets, which is the ones on your phone, and you have to grant it access to get in there. Other than that, decentralized exchanges are the only way to go. Decentralized or the hybrid, we're the first in the world to do it. It's the only way to go. Centralized, can't trust it. The government has way too much power. It's the whole reason we moved to wallets in the first place, where you keep custody. It's the whole reason why online wallets aren't worth having, because they're not yours, it's your custody. You need to really keep things on your own hardware wallet. You need to really keep things on a paper wallet if you haven't got a hardware wallet. Or worst case scenario, you need to keep it in a software wallet, but try not to do that. Unless it's a software wallet that is the only one I can think of. That I'm sure there might be more that, like, maybe the Cipher wallet as well is pretty good. So you've got custody of that. It's open source. You see what I mean? Same as ours. So our wallet sits on our app. Our app's not completely open source though. It has to be like that because it interfaces with certain servers. We don't want DDoS attacks and things. It keeps the network going faster. But there's the things that matter are open source, and you can see. And that's the keeping custody of your own pass keys, and also being able to inspect the open source coding that the wallet is that is the wallet. And it's going to be the same with a lot of the D apps on there. They'll sit on top of our platform, but they won't be Some DApps might be open, some might be closed. We need to speak about this. We haven't got much. It's an area for the future. We need to see if there's any risk of having some DApps from bad players on there. So it might be a case where if they are closed source, we need to see the code. But that's down the track. It's later in time. Anyway, don't keep your money on exchanges. It's a broken record sounding thing here, but it's very true. You can't. It's not that you can't necessarily trust that some of the companies won't get out of business. Like Binance, for example, you can trust that they're going to stand by their word because they didn't get hacked last year. Some of their users got hacked because of their bad practices, allowing themselves to be phished. We know that the legal system in our countries, Britain and America and the whole world really, the legal systems are part of the tyranny that control us all. So they have no wish to stop scammers. They have no wish to stop people in these call centers in India and Pakistan ripping off old ladies. They don't want to do that because it's part of the big fear thing. Well, it's a part of distribution as well of wealth. In some ways, they'll see it, but what it really is. It's allowing other evil to get ahead. You hear some of these scam lines on some of these hackers that basically scam the scammers. I love that. We're going to get into this in a few years. Once a lot of money comes in from Pryvate coin and from the private project in total, I personally will be putting a lot of my money into funding some of these channels, bring them together as a collective who basically completely screw up these call centers that are hacking people. Any noble cause like that, we're gonna try to integrate or fund these different houses, because the simple fact is our governments are failing at their job, and they're failing on purpose. They're not failing by mistake. Oh, we just couldn't get to that. Oh, there wasn't enough money. There wasn't enough people. They get plenty of money off of us. They get enough money to do 10 times what they do. So that's why some things happen. You get some things like welfare people, for example. The government is their caretaker, funded by us. The rest of us who work with different levels get paid different money. It doesn't get funded by them. They might get taxed by buying stuff. Yeah, it's getting funded by them. That's just money that came straight out. If you're not working at all and you're not doing anything, you're not contributing in any way, then this is the aspect of socialism that I don't like. And that could even just be walking an old man's dog, doing something other than just yourself, right? If you're just yourself, that's fine. But don't take money off of everyone else. Give something back. In the future, there won't be jobs. It doesn't mean that you can't contribute, right? So that is the only aspects that I like about socialism, is if you actually contribute something, you're not a lazy turd. So what happened to that exchange? That's right. So Binance actually paid money back. That means they can be trusted. It means they're not going to do it. They most likely won't do an MT Gox on you, given the fact that they're based in a few places, Malta, and I think maybe Malta's coming up, or might be already. I'm not sure, and a few other countries around South Korea, I think, and a few other places in Asia. So distributing themselves to protect against governments doing the same thing. Everyone who has exchanges needs to do the same thing. The problem with decentralized exchanges is just the average person will just lose their money. I'll tell you right now. It's just, they're too complicated, too slow, no customer service. There's a lot of other downsides, but having a hybrid model that allows you to still take care of people, still have a centralized model that allows you to, when I say centralized, your servers can still be distributed around the world, but it's like Ripple. Ripple's centralized. It has lots of different nodes operated by 5 different companies. It's still centralized, right? So that's why I'm calling ours is centralized, because we're one company that runs everything. But it's decentralized hybrid because you have custody of your tokens, and we see that's the future. Not the decentralized model, and definitely not the centralized model either, because they are too much at the behest of whatever the governments decide they should do. And that can be locking your funds out because they decide that they believe you're funding some organization that shouldn't be funding. And which In some cases it might be true. In most cases it will be lies, because that's just the nature of our governments. They cannot be trusted at all, right? They are the enemy. I'll say it right now. All of our governments, whether you're in Iran, Japan, Britain, America, it doesn't matter where you are, Canada, all the governments are the enemies. They're self-serving. They exist for one reason. They exist to perpetuate themselves. They are almost like a life form in themselves. And life, the prime directive of life, whether you're a single cell organism, is to continue. And that is their whole their whole MO. All they're there for is to make themselves live longer. And they are a parasite. That's the difference. See, I suppose everything's a parasite. Really, we suck air from around us. We are a parasite too. It's impossible to not be a parasite. But with the understanding that a parasite is something living off another living organism, which arguably again Earth is. But when it comes to, let's say, a genetic life form, a simple life form like a simple complex life form like a human being or a raccoon or whatever it might be. A flea, a tapeworm, and the government are all in the same boat, you know. Get your money off exchanges. If you're going to use exchanges, make sure you remove them. You move your money every so often. Make sure you keep up with the news on each exchange. Don't do what I did. Don't actually. I did what I did last year because I didn't trust the US government, and I still don't. But most of you don't live in totalitarian. Most of you don't live in Russia or the US, right? So if you don't live in Russia or the US, just stick to maximum 3 exchanges. And if there's some coins you need on other exchanges, you need to ask yourself, do you really need them? If they don't have their own wallet and the project's not that far ahead, forget about it. Who cares? Wait until they get their shit together and get listed on an exchange that you want to be on. Because if you're just swing trading to create more Bitcoin, to earn yourself more Bitcoin, you are literally better off just keeping it simple. Like everything I like, keep it simple. Choose the coins you want first of all, and then see what exchanges they're on. Try and narrow it down to 2 or 3. And if there's some that fall outside the main 2 or 3, let's put it on a spreadsheet, then don't use them. You know, simple as that. Unless you're really one of these long shot guys who want to go onto a post-ICO coin that's at low amounts, that's only on, fine, play with those ones. I'm just saying for a simple trader who wants to put the money somewhere that's not Tether, you want to put the money into something that's not necessarily let's see, I wouldn't call it a stable coin, but I'd say coins that, okay, let's say for example, Dash, Monero, they're coins that are going to be around for a long time. Why? Because they're mined. They already have intrinsic and extrinsic value, unlike most coins out there. Unlike a lot of tokens out there don't have a multitude of values because they're just basically a printed shite coin. Like ours, for example, if it didn't have anything behind it, if we didn't have the team that we have, not just the team we have, what we've produced, which is way more than most companies that have been. I mean, we've been around since 2013, releasing products since 2015, but we haven't started doing blockchain stuff proper. I mean, blockchain focused technology, because it's been all cryptography stuff, but it hasn't been blockchain focused since developing this year. And yet we already have an exchange. We also have the corporate products, but we've got an exchange, an app for iPhone and iOS that's gone through multiple iterations, a wallet, and in that wallet is going to continue to get more things on, more currencies on it. What I mean is, look what we've created in such a short space of time with only a few people. If you're investing in companies that have a team of 20 or so, you're seeing, or 30 or 40, anything more than that, and you're waiting 2 years for them to do stuff, like I'd have to even question looking at some of the developments made by Cardano, for example, the amount of people on board. Actually, I'm going to mention Substratum. I just sold out of it today. There's a lot of companies out there, distributed internet stuff. I was looking at Siacoin because one of the guys in the team thought, well, let's use that. Still might use it. But they're the one who's been in the space the longest. You've got storage, you've got Substratum, there's others. I can't think of them right now. I had a list of them the other day. But the reality is that these companies are working so slowly. Why so slow? What's the Could it be that you're not actually developing anything? Could it be that you have nothing coming? And this is, besides the fact that it's not a cryptocurrency, Ripple. I don't mean to bag a whole bunch of coins, but you buy what you feel like buying. All I'm saying is that things are high risk. If they're producing nothing, and the thing they have to produce is quite simple compared to what other people are actually doing with less people, then you've got to scratch your head and ask questions, right? It means that they might just be there to have an illusion that they're doing something to pump up a shitecoin, right? Just beware. Anyway, take your coins off of exchanges, or have them on distributed exchanges, and make sure if you have a distributed exchange, keep your passwords extremely safe. Make 2 copies of it, so if your safe gets stolen or your house burns down, you've got another copy. It is your wealth. You are your bank. People need to start remembering that you are your own bank, and that's another reason why, if you are your own bank, you wouldn't keep, well, unless you're an underwriter, you're not going to keep your money in the bank next door. You can't trust anyone. I can't trust what's happening here.